right, hey guys, welcome. We are going to give it just a couple of minutes as we let people gather. Glad you're with us today. We're going to be covering how to make a Southern themed snack board or charcuterie board, as some might say. So we are just going to let people join for just a second and then we will be right on. Glad you're here. All right, hopefully everybody can hear me good. I'm going to move the camera back just a second. So give me just 1 second. All right, move this camera back here so everybody can see what we are going to be doing today. We have a wonderful little live for you to be with us today. I want to introduce myself. My name is Laura Beth Peters. My maiden name was Stubblefield, if you knew me from UT. I studied at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville from 1999 to 2003. And I love, love, love Knoxville, Tennessee. It is still a sweet place in my heart and just excited to be with you guys today. I'm living now in Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville, which is where I grew up. So I spent a couple of years in Knoxville just after graduating. I studied marketing there under the School of Business and just felt like it was time to come home after a couple of years. So I did marketing for different entertainment brands, mostly in the faith-based space. And I did that for 10 years, loved doing that, had a baby, and that is around the time when I started feeling like maybe it was time for me to do something creative on my own. And so I started the Steel Magnolias podcast, which is what I'm here representing today for you guys. Steel Magnolias podcast is my sister and I, which I'll introduce her in just a moment because she's going to join me today. We started it in 2018 and we've had over 100 episodes. We release weekly, so every single Tuesday we have a new episode on Southern culture. So our tagline is that we want to have uplifting conversations about life in the South. And I'm sure many of you watching this have your own great experiences of Southern culture that you've experienced. And we wanted to share that with a lot of the people that were new to moving to the South. Being in the Nashville area, we have a very, very large influx of people that are from California, Washington State, a lot of West Coast people that are moving here. And so we thought, well, maybe we should be sort of a welcome wagon to them. And so we created the podcast to do that. And before I get too far, I just want to kind of make sure people know what a podcast is. Do you have your phone around? It's okay if you don't. I do. But if you are an iPhone user, it's really simple because the podcast app is already loaded on your phone. And so it's a purple icon that's already loaded on any iPhone, even if you've got an old one. And I'll just kind of hold it up here real quick so people can see the purple icon there that says podcast. That's what you would click, and then you could just search for Steel Magnolias and you would see right there on the screen all the various episodes. So it's audio content, and each episode is about 30 minutes. And like I said, we cover all sorts of topics. So Lainie, come on into the screen here with me so people can see your face.
Hi.
We wore our festive colors. Although Lainie wasn't a UT grad, she always came to every UT game when I was there.
That's right.
And
I went to Western Kentucky, but the football's just not quite the same as it is in Knoxville.
Yeah. So she was the older sis that Dad said, no, you can't go. It's a party school. And then I guess by the time I came around, he had softened his parenting thoughts on it and let me go. So, so that is...
And he went there as well.
He
that
did.
was Dad's alma mater. So.
Yeah. So if you have a different device other than an iPhone, we're on Spotify and Pandora and Google Play and all of the places that podcasts are. So you can find us there. And in just a second, I'll just even pop in a link to the Apple Podcast so that you can find us. Let's see. Oh, and I wanted to say that podcasts are free.
Yes.
So they're, no charge to you for even jumping in on it. I thought it would be good to have Lainie on here with me, not just because she is a fantastic host, which what we're talking about today is definitely a way you can showcase your hosting skills. But she and I have rapport on the show that I just wanted y'all to see and get a feel for, so that it relates to the podcast. And we record every week at her kitchen table, so we live just a couple of miles apart. She's also here in Franklin, and we wanted to make you feel like that you're at the table with us, which is really...
we literally are.
That's the heart of the show.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
and so we're just gonna have fun with y'all today. We're gonna literally build this board together.
Yeah. So we chose this topic because Thanksgiving is coming. So while this is sort of a year-round topic, because snacks are always needed.
Every sport, every gathering.
Yeah. But we chose Thanksgiving because there's going to very likely be some hungry people around your house. And I also just want to acknowledge that it being 2020, that Thanksgiving looks a little different this year for many.
Yeah.
And
not as large of gathering maybe, but...
Yeah. Or... in some cases, I've heard that people aren't even going to be able to come at all. And so I do want to mention just real quick, if you or a loved one are going to be spending Thanksgiving alone, or maybe just with one other person, and you're kind of feeling that missing out effect of Thanksgiving being different because of COVID-19, I want to invite you to go over to our Instagram page. Our tag is right behind me here, Still Magnolias Podcast. And we are going to give away a $75 gift card this week to a company called TakeThemAmeal.com, and they are going to send you a traditional turkey meal.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to let you guys...
3 or 4 people, so...
It's a really sweet thing that they do. You could purchase through them if you don't want to chance your luck, but we're giving that away this week, and we just thought that would be a really cool way to acknowledge that Thanksgiving could be hard for some this year, and trying to find good solutions to still make it a celebratory day.
That's right. Lots to be thankful for.
I think we should dive in. I do want to mention also that we're not sponsored by anybody that we're talking about today. We just love Southern brands, and so we have picked several out for you guys that would be just something we would want to share with a friend. So we're here to share friend recommendations with you. So I'll start by showing off the board or the platter that we are going to build. I just got this precious enameled Go-Balls board from a company called Glory House. And they are available online. They're sold at a lot of boutiques nationwide. They have a lot of SCC product. So we're going to use that as our board we're going to build on. If you don't have something already and you're looking to buy something, we would want to tell you that having something with even a little bit of a lip on the edge is very helpful, so you're not having roll away grapes and blackberries.
Especially if you're going to travel with it. If you're going to take it, you really need that little lip. And this one has a really nice one. So that's great.
Yeah. So Lainie, why don't you start while I put a couple of links up and tell us, how do you even approach where to even begin with building a board?
That's a great question. So you have we have a big rectangle. You may have a circle or a square. So one of the things I would start with is we're going to have a lot of dapplings of little things. And instead of putting, all the grapes here and all the salami there, it's fun to have little bits around so that you can reach from different directions. So I like to start with putting a few items in little ramekins. So I have, that we're going to use today, 4 of these little round ramekins that are all the same. And this one is filled with pimento cheese, because what Southern board is complete without pimento cheese
right.
on it?
That's right.
Often I will make my own pimento cheese, but since we had lots to do today, I bought one that I love.
There's no shame in buying.
That's right.
We did want to make sure and show things that were handmade and store-bought so that you guys can see, even blended together, it can create a beautiful board.
That's right. So if you have your favorite recipe for your pimento cheese, please make it. But if you're going to the store, I love palmetto cheese. This is the one with the jalapenos. It's my favorite because I like it to have a little kick. But for a store-bought, it's really good. So I wanted to mention that. They sell it at, I know, Kroger, Publix, even Costco. But I'm going to start with putting my little ramekins around just in some different locations. So that's the first one. The second one, I put some hot pepper jam. Hot pepper jam goes great with various cheeses. Especially good with a really soft, like a goat cheese or something like that. It's really nice. Or even cream cheese. Sometimes you've seen it just put on top of cream cheese.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a little of that here. You know, in the South, we like pickled things.
Yes, we do.
So I have a little chow chow. And this chow chow I got like from our local Amish community. But plenty of recipes out there if you like to make your own chow chow, or if your great aunt's canning it still and you got some of that, chow chow goes great.
If you have a great aunt canning chow chow, you are a lucky human being.
That's right. I know ours is already passed, but she used to can chow chow. So I'm going to put a little of that. And then I also like to have, this is just a blackberry jam. But jams, especially blackberry jam, goes so well with cheese. So that's what I chose for the 4 little ramekins. And I just set them around in various locations.
This one's fun because I got this from our local farmer's market. And they do a sugar-free blackberry jam.
Oh, that's nice.
And because blackberries themselves are already so sweet, you honestly don't need sugar. And so, that's what we go through a lot at our household.
So, started with just those.
All right. Let me just make sure people can see that good. I'll lift it up for us here. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at.
Kind of start.
So far. You can, as you're probably seeing around our microphone, we have a lot more we can add. And I don't know if we really commented much on the size of our board, but just take into account how many people you might have around.
Yeah.
Because there's some really great looking boards out there that are very, very small.
Right. If you're just you can build one of these for 2 or 3. Or,
yeah.
Yeah, if you're just having a glass of wine with a friend, you can make something like this.
And the other thing I would suggest is if you are hosting or even taking this to the host and you've got a more COVID sensitive crowd, maybe make 2 to 3 smaller boards that could be separated in like stations or just around the home versus just one large platter that everybody's going to be
gather
congregating
closely around.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about some other things you could do to help with the COVID situation too. Now, I always think it's important to have I didn't say this, but one thing I love about these two is there's a lot of protein that you can put on here, and so it's hearty. It kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
So it's not just like having a bowl of popcorn out or something that's just simple carbs. True. It's like kind of sticks with you, and I like that for snacking.
Yeah, and so depending on at what point in the day that you typically serve your Thanksgiving meal, just definitely want to be mindful of that too.
Don't get so full on salami that you don't enjoy your meal.
Yeah, but if you're maybe a 4 or 5 o'clock start time and guests are there by 11, then
you need something.
You're going to need some hearty things. Should I go ahead and showcase our other hearty piece here? So my husband has very much gotten into smoking on a green egg, and so if you are wanting to task the husband or the husband wants something to do,
I do the smoking at my house, but
there you go. This would be a great thing for putting somebody in charge that really likes to smoke meat. So we have here some pulled pork sandwiches. So it is literally just smoked pulled pork meat on Sister Schubert rolls. So I'm going to let you put those around.
And those are so great too. Another thing you can pick up at the store that is always a hit.
So I'm going to hold, this is what it looks like in the frozen section. Even if you're not building a Thanksgiving board or having a platter that you're building this holiday season, these are the rolls that you need in your home because they are perfect with a Thanksgiving or Christmas meal.
Yes.
And this is a Southern brand that we love. Sister Schubert has a fantastic story, so I just encourage you to check that out. And you could even, if you wanted to do a few of those without the meat, you could even just leave some there, right?
Oh, because we have pimento cheese, we have jam.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put these kind of around as well because, you know, somebody might not want the meat, but definitely wants the Sister Schubert, especially if they know Sister Schubert. So,
I'm just starting.
Yeah.
Put things on here.
Go for it. So, there's some meat that Lainie is laying out. And what kind of meat is that?
So we got a variety of salamis, and you can do so many different things when you're looking at what meat you want to put on. You can go to your local, like we have here well, it's actually in Spring Hill, Early's that does bacon and sausage and stuff like that. Different locations. Gosh, if you're up near Chattanooga, you could go to Alan Benton's place and get some yummy bacon and smoked meats. But I think it's fun to have even a variety of shapes. I know that sounds silly, but like this one, I just cut, you know, it was like in a log kind of shape. So I went ahead and cut it. So we have some in different spots, but it's also fun to get the kind that just comes like this that you can fold. We did a little class with our friend Courtney Bowman over at Raleigh Cheesy, and she taught me this trick. So you fold it in half and then fold it again so that it makes this fun little shape. And I'm going to put some on the board and then we'll show you guys how it looks. She calls it a salami river when you kind of make it have a fun little...
Yeah, and that's a great point because, like we already mentioned, around Thanksgiving, many of us have very long to-do lists. So if this is something like we're building today that looks appealing, but you don't want to build the entire board, there are many
companies
businesses
that are doing this
popping up
for you
that are all over the country. We have the Nashville Cheese Gal here in our area, and they've got storefronts or they are online only. Up in Indiana, I know there's a great company called Have Board Will Travel.
That's cute.
So you could even look up if there's somewhere in your area that has already done boards. Again, no shame in picking it up, already done.
That's right. They would love to build one for you.
That's right.
So, but it's kind of fun to have it kind of roll through the middle or that kind of thing. That's why she calls it a river.
Yes.
So this one is a short river, but I'm gonna have you show that too so they can see kind of how I rolled it through.
Thanks for y'all's comments. This is fun to see who we've got with us today. Jason Fahm says, all I want for Christmas is that pimento cheese Lainie bought. So, so now we know what Jason Fahm wants for Christmas. And
I love it. I love that he's on here.
He's a foodie for sure.
Oh, another thing that goes great that's really easy is to get some local honey, especially local raw honey. You know, it's thick.
Yeah.
So this one is from True Bee, which is here in Nashville. Great little local honey. And you can just put a spreader in it. If you have a particular cheese that you know your crowd is going to like that goes with honey, you can go ahead and put it on top. One thing, like if I know this is an unusual, you know, gorgonzola or a strong blue cheese, people either love it or hate it. I love it.
I do too.
You can go ahead and put some honey on it and even put, you know, some walnuts or something like that so it looks real pretty. But if you don't know what people like, it's better to just stick with having it as an option and let them put it together. So I'm going to put a little honey on our board. I've got to remember to leave room for crackers and pretzels.
I know. What's funny is we've already filled it so much with the good stuff. We didn't start with cheese and crackers, which seems probably, I bet that's what you guys thought we were going to have, all cheese and crackers. So hopefully
too many fun things.
The mystery has already been solved on that. But yeah, we still have some cheese, some crackers,
some fruit, some nuts.
Oh my gosh, we do. Okay.
Oh, well, I mentioned that we love pickled things in the South. And this is another product we can mention that's great to pick up. Wickles Wicked Okra. it adds some like variety and texture to your board. This would be a great place to talk about those little skewers.
Yes. Okay. So as we said, we are trying to be mindful that we're in a season where there's been so much sickness that a lot of people are leery of sharing things. And so if that's the case, or even if it's not, these are just wonderful to have on hand. I bought a massive bag from Amazon, but go ahead and for your holiday shopping list, invest in some nice skewers. These are bamboo skewers that I got off of Amazon. And these would be great to just stab in really anything that can be stabbed. So I'll put them in some of our pulled pork sliders over here. And that's definitely one that would stay together okay.
The wickles.
The
okra. Yeah. Pickled okra is pretty southern. I love this addition.
Yeah. So good. So again, if you've... oh, hi, Cousin Julia. Hi, Laura Whited Nichols. Thanks for joining. I tried to invite some old friends, Knoxville people, and, of course, some alumni. So thanks for tuning in with us today. Speaking of crackers, what?
Start with the
I was going to
southern
say,
of all.
Don't just think of the entertaining crackers that you've seen out at many events or you've put out yourself. Remember that the most southern cracker of all is a good cheese straw.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a brand that is available actually at a lot of places in the South. I got these at Walmart.
I've even seen them at the Hallmark store here.
Oh, really?
So who knows?
So Mama Geraldine's, like I said, again, we're not sponsored, but we just are planting seeds of products we like. And so the back says, snack on, y'all. And we are going to definitely, this is something that I can easily forego making and purchasing.
Yes.
Because the consistency of a cheese straw is somewhat hard to get at home.
Well, and this is another thing I think is brilliant to have in your pantry at all times. Because if somebody pops in for tea or coffee or any time of day, I think these taste good. Personally, I can eat them early, late.
Yeah. They've got a long shelf life, so they're full of preservatives, but they will live on so that if you, like you said, need them at any time.
You can just have something handy to grab.
Yeah.
And she's going to, we'll put them around in different locations so they're in different spots, making our board more interesting.
Yes.
Having things in different spots.
Did we already talk about the fact that, maybe you did and I was putting links up, that it's okay to put things together that don't go together?
No,
so that was another thing that I learned from Courtney over at Raleigh Cheesy. Don't think that, if the cheese goes with this particular cracker,
they have to
live
together.
by each other.
No.
Some of the best things for your own food palette can come up with you just randomly putting things together. Maybe you, as the guest, thought that the host meant for you to eat those together. But they don't necessarily have to be sectioned off or partitioned in any way that they are supposed to go together. So, all right, we ready to move into some cheese?
Yes, we still have more cheese. So we already have our pimento cheese.
Okay.
But I do think it's smart to talk about having a variety of different kinds of cheese. So for one thing, not just you want some hard, some soft. There's a lot of different directions you can go. But a great soft cheese is a goat cheese. And I think that's usually pretty mild. So if, no matter who's in your crowd, you're good with having some kind of simple goat cheese. Yeah. So I'm just going to plop this one on our board.
Okay. This is just a small log, if you will. I got this one actually at Trader Joe's. Some of the other cheddars that we've got, you can get from your farmer's market or from just whatever local dairy might be near you. I also selected just a white aged cheddar, which is a classic. Yep. Classic. But I also wanted to put something fun in, and since it is fall, I chose a cranberry aged cheddar. So those are the two cheeses that Lainie's putting on the board now.
And you went ahead and cut this. Sometimes people will, cut 2 or 3 pieces and leave the whole block sitting there.
Yeah.
But since we're not wanting as much interaction,
Yes.
I do think it's kind of smart to just go ahead and cut it.
Yeah.
Cut it all up.
And one of the other things that these sorts of boards do, and if you have hosted before, this is gonna ring true. This type of already done platter keeps people, hopefully, out of your kitchen and out of your space that you might be trying to create some last minute recipe. You know, you might be doing some last minute touches on cooking, or even just starting cooking. If people are with you all day, maybe you are, literally hosting overnight guests. So this sort of platter really puts it into the hands of your guests to just help themselves and get out of the kitchen.
That's right. That's right. One other thing I wanted to mention was you want your cheeses at room temperature.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So when you're preparing, go ahead and have your cheeses sitting out a little bit before you start building, because cheese just tastes better at room temperature.
Yeah,
So you
it
don't
does.
want to pull it straight out of the fridge and throw it out here.
It does.
All right.
So we've got maybe about 5 more minutes left.
Oh, so much to do. Okay, nuts.
Okay.
You got to have pecans in the South.
Yes.
That's such a Southern nut.
Yeah.
This is just a mixture that I made. Super easy. You can buy things already done like this, but this is pretty easy to do. Soak your pecans for 15 minutes in apple juice. Then kind of drain it off and put a little sugar and apple pie spice.
Ooh, girl. So these are pecan pieces. These are whole.
These are pieces.
These are
but not the
pieces,
teeny
but
pieces.
not,
like that more the halves. Pecan halves.
Halves.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the right way to say that. Yeah.
Yes, pecan halves.
And while you're doing that, this is also a great sort of teachable moment, if you will. I'm recognizing that although I wanted to put these chocolate pecans out, it's not really fitting with the rest of the board. So I might just put these in a bowl elsewhere.
Yeah.
Since all of this is sort of savory, hearty.
Yeah, you could throw
snacking,
chocolate on, but we've kind of
it just
already
doesn't
covered
feel
it.
like it fits here. So
I
again,
get it.
wanted the chocolate pecans because they're pecans, and I wanted to offer something that was more of a dessert bite. But again, you don't always have room, or
You can
the
see
theme
our
doesn't always
excitement
feel right.
because our excitement is showing we don't even have room for fruit.
yeah.
Or crackers.
So in our final moments here, I'm going to start putting around some orange slices.
Also,
It is definitely
it's nice to have some fruit.
It's definitely citrus season, so although we don't claim Florida a lot, we do need their citrus, right? So I'm going to put these orange slices around. We've got some blackberries, which are also, to me,
so Southern.
very Southern, and you can still find those around. And then I just think there is nothing that's more fall than a Honeycrisp apple.
Oh, my
So
favorite
I've got several
breed.
slices of these too that I'm just gonna sort of pepper around here.
And don't be afraid to make it even prettier using fresh herbs. I think even just putting like rosemary, just breaking it and putting it in your cheese. Like, look how much prettier that looks with a
Let me
little
show the
rosemary
people-
on
show
there.
Make sure that
little-
they can see that. This is
Just
how the board's coming along
tucking
now.
it there. Oh my gosh, and it smells so good.
It does. It does. I wish that we could transition from this Facebook Live to having you all literally join us at the table.
Wouldn't that be fun for a Goval's
That
tray?
smells so good.
And often
Smells
you'll
so
have
good.
some of these herbs because you're cooking your turkey, so you'll already have some rosemary and sage for your dressing and everything. So you'll have them in the fridge, and you can use them for this too. And crackers just have a variety of different kinds of things. Some, pita chips and some pretzel chips and different shapes.
I was going to say, we're kind of lucky as Tennessee people because fall is just so conducive to the color orange. So I feel like
That's so true.
I feel like we get blessed with all of the Thanksgiving tablescapes
Cheese
and
straws are orange.
just all the decor of Thanksgiving. I feel like so closely aligns with
Pumpkins that are orange.
a true Tennessee color family. So
Yes.
anyway, okay, well,
Wow, this time flew.
It really did.
I felt like we were going to get to even share even more.
Yeah. So we've got some nuts here. again, maybe if they didn't work on the board, maybe that's a good secondary station to put up. Those are hearty, so if you have
lots of protein here, I love it.
people
Nuts,
that
meat, cheese,
are going to be around for a while, throw some nuts out. So that's going to do it for our time. It is right at the top of the hour. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Again, we are at Steel Magnolias Podcast on Instagram. I have linked to our podcast show in the notes or the comments section here. I hope you'll join us. We have had some fantastic episodes. We had a great college football episode where, of course, we focused on Tennessee traditions, and we just touch on all things Southern. And so if that is of interest to you, I encourage you to go and subscribe to Steel Magnolias Podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
The Vol Navy would be proud.
They would. Why don't you hold the board up for us one more time as I exit it out for us. All right. So I will just... All right, guys. Am I showing it good?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to catch it all.
I know.
We didn't even put a cracker one. We had so much fun stuff.
I know. Okay, so...